Yo, what's up, Armando? Wah. What is it? Is it what? Or is it wah? I can never tell. Like, is it more Artie Lang or more Bill and Ted's? Alrighty. Well, I was supposed to start back on this 2 weeks ago, but Spyro got the better of me. So, son of a bitch. Hold on a second. I forgot I had to reinstall my Cintiq drivers. Yeah, let me see. We'll just do that together, shall we? And then we can, let's see. Okay. Oh, there. It came back. Sometimes the drivers drop. I've already done Spyro. No, I was still working. I've been working on Spyro since December. I just wrapped up my last concept art piece yesterday. That's how it works. So I'm all done. And then now we get back to other stuff. For the ice stuff? No, I didn't work on the ice stuff. I cannot say where they're at, Armando. All I could say is my part is done. Something like that. Sometimes they need options, right? Sometimes they go, hey, we were doing one thing and now we want to do another. There's just different levels of production. You know? Not saying that was the case, but it's cheaper to have people draw things than to sit around pushing polygons all day. Hey, thanks, Chris. Yeah, you got a ways to go, man. Yeah. The game will be dope. There's other stuff to do. I don't even know what I can show. The way I understand it is I can't show anything. Unless they show something, then I can be like, yeah, I drew that. You know? They own all the art, so. All I know, guys, is the NDAs I signed were pretty complex. You know? So, it's the way it works. When the game comes out, I can tell you, you know. It's just the way it is for everybody, man. Anytime you work on big projects, you know. Think about all the art that's generated for a Star Wars movie that you never see. You know, it doesn't all make the books, you know. pretty standard. Yeah, it's tough. That's why when people are like, "Oh, where'd you go?" I'm like, "Hey guys, that's just the way it works." Mm-hmm. Hey, what's up, Tim? This is a commission. I'll be back on Power Prints Monday. Maybe Sunday. We'll see. I'll probably have prints of this available. It's going to be rendered in color pencil, so. I don't know, man. I just never really read the Archie comics. Last time I picked up an Archie comic was when they were doing the Turtles back in like '91, I want to say. All I know is I spent a lot of time on the faces. Otherwise, fucking, you never hear the end of it. Not a lot. I worked on the Monty Python t-shirts for about a year or two. Yeah, like Holy Grail, all that stuff. Or pretty much the only thing you could sell at the stores was anything from the Holy Grail. That's it. At the time, all the goofy imagery was like not really working, so they had me try a bunch of stuff that never sold. I put some of it in my DeviantArt years ago. I'll be honest, in the 80s I was more into Bill Murray movies than Monty Python. I do a lot of Saga stuff. Well, I do all the covers for Megavisions, and I recently became their art director. This is just because someone requested a Sonic commission. And they threw down the loot. Yeah, so they're going to print. They're going to do a print magazine, and I've taken over the art direction duties on that. So I've been doing that in between all the Spyro stuff. That's something else you haven't seen me working on. You want to see a sneak peek? You can't tell anyone. I'll show you. So I'll show you this Yakuza 6 piece we just did. This is the artwork that I did a while back. So it's going to look like this and this, and we haven't got the review stuff put in yet. But it's going to have a whole... It's going to be a new magazine that looks old. It's going to look old. I can't show you in a Spyro show. So I've been doing this on top of everything else. Yeah. Thank you. Like I did, we're gonna do a Thunder Force piece. Retro, we got some retro shit in there too. So see. Yeah. So it's gonna be dope. I've worked my Power Stone stuff in there. You want to see a super early version of that? Like, I do these things in thumbnails. So you can see. This is a mock-up for the cover. This is a tiny thumbnail. And then we'll have a Power Stone piece in here. These are tiny thumbnails. These have to still get made up. So I've been doing this in between everything else. So that'll be announced in about a month. Well, you know, I do my best, man. You know. The word is collectible, not disposable. You know. So yeah, it's going to be new content and retro content, but the whole magazine's going to look old and colorful. So plus, whenever we get around to doing Sonic Mania, I'll put this piece in there. Hey, thanks, Karen. I try to keep busy. And if you guys want to know, check this out. This is kind of cool too. I am also putting in It won't be in the preview. We're working on, so we're doing a preview and then we're going to do a full issue. And the full issue, which will be somewhere in July or August, there's going to be Game Cave. So this is an early mock-up. So Game Cave is going to be a section in the magazine. So I'll put the TMNT stuff in there. So it's early mock-up. I thought I might get 8 pages, but I'm only going to get 6. So I got to do some adjustments. But, yeah. So that's going to be cool. It's been busy. That's the hope. But cool part is, as I work on commissions and stuff, I can always find a home for some of that art in the magazines and stuff, and sort of cross-pollinate, you know, a lot of the work. Yeah, I don't like them. I don't like motion comics. Cool part is I was able to get the piece I just did with Ashley in. This is cool looking. So I did the Wings of War piece. So this is the one I colored with Ashley's art. And you can see here's the boss fight. So that's dope. And then it's got a whole review too. And our buddy Luis Martin, he did a piece, so I got that in there. So looks cool. Yeah, right? So it's gonna be an artistic magazine, man. You know? More like an art book. That's what I say. But it's gonna be cool. Well, let's just keep that between ourselves. They'll announce it in the next month or so. They're going to have a Patreon and all that other stuff. But what I like about these guys is they're thinking long term. They've been doing the Sega Nerd site for 16 years, and I just did all the digital magazines with them, with Megavisions, and now they're taking it to traditional print. And so they're in it for the long haul, you know. So like they're not just going to give up 2 years from now, you know. Well, I have a completely unique way of working that is not traditional magazines. So I design in Photoshop, lay out the text in InDesign, and then finish my graphics up in Photoshop. On this one, I do small thumbnails, and then I send it over to a guy out in the UK who does an early build in InDesign, and then I disassemble that entire thing in Photoshop and build up all the graphics and stuff, and then drop them back in. That's not really normal for print, so. But it's how I got Game Fan done. And I've been having this idea for this super retro magazine for a long time that would have new shit in it too. That's how I started with GameCube. It was supposed to be GameCube. It was supposed to be that, but I couldn't get consistent writers to stick with me, so I made it a fictional magazine. Oh well. And then they saw my Game Cave stuff and were like, hey, you know, we're thinking about doing a print magazine. What do you know, you have any advice, or is there anything you'd like to, you know? And I saw what they were doing, and I was like, hey, you know, I wouldn't mind. So I did a few mock-ups, and then they were like, holy shit, you know. So we had some conversations, and then next thing you know, here I am doing another thing. So, but it's cool, because like I said, I got a guy in the UK that, Graham, he takes my little thumbnails and then kind of gets them going, and then I can do my thing after the fact. So it eliminates about half the work. Was it more retro? Well, Game Cave is different in that Game Cave existed for 30 years. It's been going on since 1987. Right? So, and it features fictional characters. So, and really, once I get done with the single issue that has the game magazine stuff in it, it's going to be more of a webcomic and a visual novel. So it's going to be more fictional stories than game reviews. Sounds kind of sad. Why does that sound sad? It takes place in another universe. Yeah, it takes place in another universe where they import Earth games. Thing is, I really don't want to do Game Cave as a game magazine all the time. So the goal is to do the fictional part and to have the game magazine part there. Is I'm not doing game magazines straight for 30 years, bro. I figured out every magazine they've made for the last 30 years. I have them all worked out in terms of like Word documents and everything. And their different styles of magazine they've been doing. But really it's these other things I want to do. So this allows me to work on a game magazine and utilize some of the techniques I've had while I go work on other stuff. But I gotta finish the game magazine part of Game Cave because that's what I kickstarted. That's how it works. Yeah, the magazine exists in another universe. Concept art. So you gotta take the old models and make new characters, you know, updated versions of them. You gotta turn those low polys into... I worked on a lot of the Norks. So if you go look at the official Spyro Twitter, you can see they just showed an old version of a Nork with a new version. I didn't do that particular one, but I worked on a lot of Norks. Worked on Norks, and I worked on dragons, and a bunch of other random stuff. The magazine. Yeah, it's another universe. It's another universe, a JRPG kind of world. And the guy that owns the magazine has the ability to kind of travel dimensions. So. Yeah, they came out nice. A lot of talent on that game, man. Like I said, it was it's a lot of work. Trying to grab something. I just don't know where I put it. Some of this stuff I gotta... It should be in here. How come it's not in here? That's not good. Give me a second. Where? No, I'm not. Now I'm getting a little worried. Like, where did I? Okay, now I'm getting annoyed. Oh, okay. I see what I did. So I made a new pagination file. So this is the layout. Like I'm working on these history of Game Cave pages. So these are tiny little thumbnails I'll do. So it'll say what year each era was in and the characters. So I've just been like nailing down all the design stuff and color schemes and everything. So you can see like the Battletoads piece will get worked into. So, okay. And then these are some rough stuff, but yeah. So I'm supposed to be working on this on Sundays. So that's sort of the thing. Clay, no. I wish. I'm no good with that stuff, man. Only drawing. Do gotta figure out where I put that file. You know, it's probably, I think I left it on my Megavision folder, that's why. I'll dig it up later. It's buried somewhere. Yeah. Nothing's ever simple, man. Everything takes time. Let me tell you something, Armando. The older you get, and the more skilled you get at things, the more you realize what your limits are. You know? Yeah, but I know how to draw. So I know the level of quality I can produce. So I stick with that. did sculpting in college. I know how long it takes me to do something. I'd rather just draw.
I don't know, Armando. You're 16, right? 17, so I couldn't do jack shit really when I was your age. I had to spend the next 10 years doing the minimum, I mean the basics, to get anywhere with it. 10 years before I got consistent work, you know. Yeah. I didn't get my first full-time art job till I was 26. You know, so it took me a long time. Hey, what's up, Psych? Did you really get doing procrastination? Procrastination. No, there was a lot of things I was doing that wasn't allowing me to draw. I had, you know, day jobs, and you know, I spent a lot of time. I realized, you know, so what happened was, see, procrastination, I don't understand. I get burnout, but here's the thing: what I do understand is I didn't have the ability to create the images in my head. So I would sit down spending all night trying to draw, you know, one character, and I wouldn't know how characters. I found out, okay, I don't understand how characters are constructed. I don't understand how to turn, you know, construction boxes into three-dimensional characters. I don't understand how to see three-dimensionally, so I have to go backwards. This all happened around 98, 99 is when I really, especially after basic training. So I joined the Army in September of 98. Fuck, 20 years ago. And, you know, when I got out, I got into to Germany. So while I was in basic, I put together my first script for a Star Wars fan film, in which they were using, there was this game that came out a year before called Masters of Tarakasi, or Kai, Tarakasi. It was like Kung Fu with the Force, right? But so I wanted to make this thing where instead of Jedi, there was these other characters using Kung Fu, and they could manipulate the elements. So I wanted them to be able to like use the Force to raise the dirt and create these walls, and then like, you know, manipulate water and manipulate elements, right? And this sounds familiar, doesn't it? Here's the thing, though. When I got to Germany, after doing all my notes in basic, I wrote first draft of the script, and then sat down figuring, okay, I can at least make this like a storyboard, because I knew what a storyboard was, but I couldn't draw any of it. I couldn't draw any one of my ideas. I had this idea that they had these gardens, like they were like kind of like Japanese gardens, that they would do kata and then manipulate the environment. There'd be like a fountain, and they could take that fountain, little bit of water, and then redirect the thing and create, you know, anime kind of style fucking battles, right? And I just didn't have the ability to execute any of those ideas. You know, I couldn't draw anything. So I had to stop and sit back and learn everything, perspective, all this stuff, you know? So, and it wasn't, what do you call it? It wasn't very, what's the word I'm thinking of? It wasn't popular to say I was an artist who spent all the time in my room drawing, and I didn't have any cool pictures to show. It was all just nothing but construction and shit like that, you know what I mean? So a lot of the guys, there was a few other artists on post, and they would spend all their time redrawing pictures from Battle Chasers and Danger Girl. All my shit would look like, you know, construction. Do we have an art studio tour video? No, I still don't have my new studio fully set up. I did do a whole video series on my old art. Let me go into, let me type in old art. Rob's old art. There you go, Rob's old art. When I was moving, I went and did a video where I was unboxing all my stuff, and I showed all these things. So, you can kind of see really quickly. This is my old pad in San Diego. This is my old stuff here from '98. This is what I drew right before I joined the Army. This was a comic I was working on called My Story. It's like kind of like Goonies kid stuff. You could see this was the best I could do in terms of like drawing hair and stuff. So I would stylize everything. That's later. So I'll show you. So like right here, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, like you could see all these scribbles and fucking nonsense that I did. But yeah, this was going to be the cover I drew. I got fired from a job because I was drawing this and a car got stolen. It's a whole story. But this is the best I could do for hair and stuff because I couldn't draw anything, you know. And then, you know, you get to like after the Army, I could actually put together figures and poses. I mean, it was still stylized, you know, but I actually understood that. And here's the same characters, you know, a few years later. You can even see, look, here I got little fish angle lens, kind of like low angle. This is them fighting over controllers and stuff. Yeah, so I go through all my old shit. Here's a Ninja Turtles model sheet I did once. So, a bunch of old shit. Yeah. So, Rob's old art. So, if you're interested, it's 2 parts, super fucking long. So. But I can assure you, you know, like none of my friends were impressed with what I drew, you know. Only my art friends who kind of knew, you know. But even then, like, I mean, I would go to Comic-Con. I knew the amount of talent out there. I was like, I don't know how the hell I'm going to get a job doing anything. I just wanted to become a better artist, you know. I just wanted to be able to create my own ideas. And then along the way, well, actually, that's how I started. I started pitching books to Image around 2005. Sold one in 2006. But then I began this long career of working with people who didn't turn in work. So my writer never turned into scripts and so forth and so forth. Well, I don't know about that. A lot of what I drew when I was younger was because I had limitations. I didn't understand hair, and I couldn't get certain things down, so I would draw things I was good at. I'd draw giant hands because I could make giant hands look kind of cool, you know. But I'm not. I'm super excited. I grew up in a different era of Star Wars, man. You know, the best I had was the novels. Like the A.C. Crispin Han Solo, Young Han Solo books. And the Smuggler's Tales and the Jedi Academy books. And so I've been waiting for a Star Wars movie that really just isn't about saving the fucking galaxy. Just small little adventures. You know, so I'm actually super excited. Later, Karen. Peace. I'll be back on more often. Yeah, it was some small, fun adventure, dude. You know, I used to read these books, like, there was always these smaller stories, these little one-offs, and, you know, not everything was like, you know, it's like Spider-Man, you know, I like Spider-Man with smaller stories, not where, you know, where he's in the New York, or, you know, Ant-Man, smaller bits. Well, they can't make them overnight, Psycho. Like, they're doing that, you know? This is like trying. See, the problem is, man, guys. I know it's tough with the internet because the internet kind of repeats the same fucking things over and over again. But try to give. It's like you're seeing Avengers: Infinity War on one hand, and then now you're seeing Star. Like, they're at Iron Man 2 right now. You know, in terms of like regular movies, Iron Man 2 or Thor. You know, in terms of the amount of films that have come out right now with the new Star Wars. So just. You can't, like, it's like going back and seeing Thor and go, man, you know, this fucking thing doesn't work, and I don't really care, and you know, I really wish they'd do something different, and it's like, you can't get to Winter Soldier or even Thor Ragnarok on the first movie. You gotta, like, they'll build, they're there to make quality films, you know, they're gonna stumble. I didn't love, you know, The Last Jedi, but they're not making poodoo jokes, guys. I don't care about first actors. And by the way, Armando, I don't want any spoilers. Right? So don't say nothing. I just don't care what people think. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, I was thinking about this the other day. I talked about it on the podcast. But it's like, all the things that influenced me when I was a kid, right? Like, I'd watch Project A-ko. Nobody in my school cared. You know? Like, I never felt like I had to, like, I knew no one was gonna like the shit I liked. It was a rarity. Like, that's what I loved about Comic-Con. I could go there and meet people who liked the weird shit that I liked. And it wasn't Batman and Superman. It was like, hey, man, fucking Bone's amazing. Nobody read Bone at my high school. No one even knew what that shit was. They didn't, you know, they kind of knew Spawn because it was on the news, and they would just laugh at the cape. Ha, ha, ha. I'm like, I get it. Everything I like sucks. You know? Gotcha. You know, I'm gonna go to my fucking room and love it. I don't give a shit. So, you know, so this whole like you know, as long as they're on the path of trying to make something of quality, like Batman and Robin, they weren't trying to make something of quality. They were trying to crank out a bunch of toys. So they're putting their best foot forward. They're gonna figure out what works and doesn't work. You know, but it can't happen overnight.
You know, these are complex. I mean, guys, I can't even begin to tell you how hard it is to watch them make a video game. And when we see those credits, and there's like, you know, 1 million fucking people in the credits, could you imagine just trying to coordinate all those people to make one scene? You know, like the fact that any of these movies come out and they're not a complete and total fuck up, like they're not X versus Sever. You know, like you know, we got to go back a little bit and talk about some really fucking bad movies. You know, they're not the Phantom Menace, right? They're not. So it's like, I get it. We want something different. You know, they'll get there. They've hired people to make different stuff. It's just it can't all come out, you know, right away. So just got to be patient. The people who really need to be worried are the guys at Warner Brothers making those DC films, because, you know what I mean? Like, Wonder Woman's great and all, but gotta say, man, you know, that Justice League, it's not my cup of tea. And I've been waiting 10 years for that fucking movie. So, whatever. That being said, Justice League isn't the worst movie. Fucking, it's not even remotely as bad as, say, Batman Forever. Go sit through that shit. You know, riddle me this, riddle me that. You know, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Her last movie wasn't that great. I can't tell if that's because the script was, you know, horrible. Who knows? I'll tell you this much. I love me some Jack Kirby, but I could care less about the new guys. The closest... It's not that they have so many failures. It's just that you put the best people you can on it, you know, and you give them the fucking room to do what they're going to do. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, guys, I can't... You guys know, man. Make some art. You know, not every fucking thing you do. You know? Everything's a gamble. I can't guarantee this commission's going to come out, you know, the best thing I've ever drawn, you know, or whatever. I can only put my best foot forward. And when you apply deadlines, you know, like, and when beyond deadlines, like when you're talking about acting, you're talking about sets have to be built, actors have a certain window, things have to be shot out of order to accommodate schedules. You're not even talking about weather interference, people getting sick, you know, global catastrophes. And when I say global catastrophes, I'm being dead fucking serious. Like when they first went to go shoot Fury Road in the mid-2000s, they went to Africa and like it did nothing but rain. Was it Australia? They went to Australia and it did nothing but rain. It was like they had just gotten through a drought and it did nothing but rain and ruined the whole fucking thing. And they were postponed for like 2 years, or was it a year or two? Something like that. Until they could go back. And then again, there's no guarantee, you know. And then people go, well, you know, I don't like this movie or that. I can't, you know, I can't get into all that. I get into whether someone was entertaining. If it was life moving, that's rare, man. Yeah, we make it look easy, but I can assure you it isn't. You know, none of it's easy. And even when I was working on Spyro, man, like there's so much fucking talent. You know, it's like then you got to keep up, and you got to add something to it. You know, it's like all this pressure, guys. You know, and I think the thing with Star Wars, I think the thing that's really going to help Star Wars is the TV show that they're making, because I can tell you right now, a lot of talented people turn down work on those films, like Brad Bird, right? Because they don't want to be labeled the person who fucked up Star Wars. So they need more movies, and they need a TV show with more episodes so more people can come on board and get past being the one new guy. You know? It's kind of like, you don't want to be the guy that takes on Batman right after Miller does the fucking Dark Knight Returns, right? Or, you know, it's like that kind of thing. Like, could you imagine someone taking over the role of Deadpool right after Ryan Reynolds? You know, it's like, you're just, you know, you're in a tough fucking position. You know, they're gonna, you know, so it's like, but I had to learn the hard way with Star Wars because the prequels, you know, the prequels, look, I know a lot of people go, oh, read my childhood, nothing like that, guys,
but it was not the kind of story I was expecting, you know. And I had to deal with the fact that, okay, sometimes they're going to make some shit I just don't care about. And so I just gave up on Star Wars. Like, well, you know, I have the parts of Star Wars I love. This other stuff I just don't care about. I'm moving on. You know? Rogue One's the closest to the kind of Star Wars that I love. So it's like, they're going to get there because they're committed to fucking making quality stuff. But it's just not going to happen overnight. We've got to just have a little patience. So in the meantime, you know, there's other shit to watch, right? You know, we got Ant-Mans and Incredibles and fucking how much anime to watch. I just got done watching Girls Last Tour, and I got that boxing anime to watch, and Food Wars Season 3 to get caught up on, and then I still haven't watched Jessica Jones Season 2. And then, you know, got some Better Call Saul coming out, and then some more Fargo, and we got Westworld Season 2. I haven't even started that yet. And then we got Game of Thrones coming. See, guys, there's so much other stuff. They're going to get to it. The worst would be if they said, we're not making any Star Wars for another 10 years. Because, you know, man, like, you can't live up to that kind of hype. They've already proved. They can't, you know, that's what happens. You wait 15 years, and it's like, oh, I don't know, you know. So, and no one's going to get fatigued, you know. No one's going to get fatigued. I don't want to hear that. You know what? The only kind of fatigue people have is shitty movie fatigue. You make a bunch of shitty fucking films, really bad ones. Like, you know, with the giant CG face on the fucking main character. I'll prove to you. I'll prove to you how I can tell you. Right? The Mission Impossible movies. They've been doing the same characters for 22 years. And it's like my second or third highest looking forward to a movie this summer. Just gotta make good movies, man. So they'll work it out. That company's learning the benefit of thinking long term. Not like, oh, we gotta turn a profit tomorrow. So yeah, so much shit to watch. And I haven't even gotten into playing games. Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out, and Dragon Quest 11 comes out, and I'm looking forward to Onrush and some of the fucking little gems I'm going to find at E3. And, you know, Spyro's coming out. Like, guys, there's so much stuff. The real question is, where's the, you know, what are they going to do with the Star Wars video games? Because this EA thing, where they have total monopoly on Star Wars, I just don't know if it's the best thing for that franchise, you know? No, people didn't get too unpleased with Westerns. I think that whole Western thing. You know what happened to Westerns, man? They did them for 40 fucking years. 40 years from now, we'll talk, you know? But they were just always cheap to make. There's nothing cheap about making a comic book movie, man, or a Star Wars movie. You know? They shot Westerns were cheap because they could go out to the fucking desert and just shoot them. It's the, you know what's the equivalent of the Western? It's not the comic book movie. It's the fucking the crime procedural, the CSI, forensics, Law and Order. Those are the equivalent of the Western. That's why we got a gazillion of those fucking things. There is no precedent for what's going on with the Marvel films right now. The closest thing to it is just what Lucas and Spielberg were doing in the 80s, only they've put it all under one roof. You know, you always got the sense that Goonies and Gremlins and Poltergeist and E.T. all existed in the same universe. I used to call it the Spielbergs. I had this idea for, you know, before Stranger Things, was like the kids could be in this neighborhood where all that Spielberg shit took place, called the Spielbergs, you know. But they actually make it all connect. I've been working on the Marvel films t-shirts, man, since 2005. I can speak with some authority.
You know, I'm telling you. I've worked on the shitty fucking films, you know, and I've worked on the big wins. I mean, I was working on it before there was a Marvel Studios. First fucking day, I got the t-shirt job. They had an amazing Spider-Man. They had a Spider-Man statue, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man statue out in the lobby. And they said, so you know, we got the Marvel license, you know, you know anything about comics? I'm like, yeah, I know a little bit. And they're like, if you could make one Marvel movie that hasn't been made, what would it be? What's the next thing? And I said, Iron Man. Shit you not. And they're like, the metal guy? That shit doesn't sell. You know? And I'm like, yeah, man in a mech suit will work just fine if they can ever get that one off the ground. I've seen enough anime to know that. Three years later. But I won't lie, man. I never thought they'd have got the Avengers made. You know? Let alone what they just made. I never thought they'd be able to get all the fucking licenses together after they sold all that shit off. Let alone pull that off. See, for me, guys, it's the faces. If you don't, I'll spend 4 hours on a face, you know, and then zoom through the rest of the stuff. But if the face is off, believe me, you're never gonna fucking hear the end of it. One Punch Man Season 2 comes out this year. There's so much stuff, guys, you know. And I'm not even talking about, like, just my own schedule. Shit I gotta work on and draw on. So much stuff. So much. So much stuff. Well, they'll announce it at some point. No, I hit mute. Yep, Megaloblocks. Yep, it's the next thing I'm gonna watch. So believe me, I've been waiting for it forever. I try to let them get a few episodes ahead though, so I can watch two or three at a time. So.
Yeah, yeah, that old Gynax. Looks like a Gynax anime, yeah. Gynax, Gynax. Alright, everybody. I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. I get some other stuff I got to do before I go to sleep. Good hanging out. I'll be back on tomorrow with more. We got to do... I got to do a cleanup pass on tails. And then after the cleanup pass, we're going to get Knuckles going. So I got to get going. I got some stuff to do. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Gotta go. I have to go. Alright, everybody. Peace. When you want Rob stuff, you go to shop, Sketchcraft.com. That's where you get his stuff.